missed an opportunity to go live on a wild line, but hey, here we
That's
are.
true.
Hello, we're live.
Hello.
So
Hello, hello.
we're gonna do some heisting for charity. I think that makes sense.
Yeah, we're stealing
Yeah,
hearts.
yeah, stealing hearts.
Yeah.
Perfect,
I
perfect.
love it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Riv is doing their own kind of heist in this game.
It's true.
hmm
It's like, nah, I don't care if I win or lose. I just need them to love me.
Ooh,
Tell me I'm wrong.
I'm not gonna
Nothing
do
heard.
that.
No, no.
I
So
got
hello.
nothing. I got nothing. I can't argue with that.
Hello, everyone. We're live from the apocalypse. We're back with more TTRPG nonsense for charity. Let me turn my camera on just a bit. There we go. Perfect. As you can see, we are fundraising for Doctors Without Borders. Unfortunately, we're past $669. Like the number is great, but the fact that we're at 714 means that we are succeeding in our goals to continue to raise money for a good cause and a good organization. And also, every time you donate, players get a little advantage token, which will help them throughout the game and throughout the heist, because there's some cool heist mechanics that they can use them for. So the donation link is in the chat, and you can also just click the donate button on Twitch. So, with that said, how's everyone doing?
Doing pretty good.
Pretty excited.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Albert,
Ready to commit some crime. Let's
Yeah.
do some crime, guys.
crime for
I'm here
good?
for crime.
question
Yeah,
mark.
crime for good.
So,
Crime for good. That's really what I'm here for. Is for the I'm here for the good of the city.
Robin Hood activities.
yeah.
Indeed.
There's nothing better with heisters with a heart of gold. Which is you guys. That's who I'm describing. You all look very confused. I was like, oh no, that's the party. Yeah.
So, sorry,
Right?
I was
Right?
thinking about the Wizard Tower and whether or not we're talking about literal hearts of gold and what they might be up to. I don't know. You know.
Oh, stealing the
Who
heart of
knows
gold
what
is a
they've
different
got in
heist.
there?
That's later in the campaign. We're gonna start with the cool heist of the National History Museum. But before we get into that, let's introduce our cool cast of people. Where's there's a little button that makes people big? Let's start with Bedlam.
Hello, I'm Bedlam. I'm playing Brindle Fallow, a young upstart in this city from the farmlands of yore. Who just happened to wander into the family business, slightly more nefarious family business than he was expecting, but he's all in. He's thieving for good. Thieving for good. Also, stuff for himself might also be good. I mean, he's a poor person. Donations, alms for the poor, things like that. All right, so
Gotta pay rent.
so that's me. Got to pay that rent.
All right, JD.
Hey, I am JD, pronouns he, they. I am playing Riv, a normal human rogue. Don't worry about it. They've mostly just been in a dating sim, but now they have a reason to cause more problems on purpose, not on accident. And I don't know, you'll have to find out what their motivation is, but they have a pretty strong one in all of this, and it's not just to cause chaos or to get money. I'll leave you with that.
Cause chaos, get money is a good tagline, though. Della.
Hi, I am Della, and I tonight will be playing B, who is a gnomish wizard, and she's just here for a good time. Just here for a good time. And this sounds like a good time. Also, she's broke, and the money sounds nice too.
Heck yeah. And Julia.
Hello. It is I, the local Delaware cryptid. I'm going to be playing Lavinia Hale, the one-armed half-elf cop. She's going, she's here. She's trying not to rock this boat too much. We'll see if she succeeds. She's got a little golden elephant running around. He's a problem. We love him. That's all we've got right now. There's nothing going on with her family. Nothing to worry about.
Well, no complications there.
None.
Uh,
Not a
oh,
single one.
I'm sad. That that Pixie, is that the username? Is not in the chat because that's the perfect time. The joke the last two streams has been, oh, someone hears a cop, and everyone's been like, "What? No!" And it's like, now we actually have a cop on the stream. It's funny.
Oh.
Yeah,
Mm.
that was more for me than anybody else, but it's just the thing I saw the last two. Anyway, hi, I'm Andrew. I run the heist and scream at Owlbear when it takes away all my maps unprompted. But it's good now, so we're gonna run this thing, and hopefully it'll be cool. That's my story. Alrighty, let's get into it. As our characters are poring over schematics and talking through plans about stealing this Stone of Galore from the National History Museum, because according to Sergio, it is part of the key that will actually help find the missing treasure that's been stolen from the city of Waterdeep. That's an intensive process. It takes some time to kind of go over all the different elements of this heist and all the different opportunities that the characters could exploit. And while that's happening, the camera kind of fades away, and we go to another part of the city. We see two people we're familiar with. See Kelvin Arunson sitting in front of looks like a glass cube cage. And I apologize, I did not pull up my notes for this. Too many links. And just enjoy the ominous music in the background for a moment. Danger of having like 30 tabs open.
Tabs for days.
There we go. Sitting in front of a almost glass cube or cage, and sitting inside of it is Professor Karis Corbett. And Kelvin just sits down in a chair outside and just says, the sooner you're willing to cooperate, the sooner we can fix this whole matter. You see, based on my assessment of the situation, you're either a conspirator, which that's treason and punishable by, well, death if you're lucky, or you're simply someone who's taken advantage of and, well, willing to help set the situation straight. So, tell me, Professor Corbett, where's the gold gone? Professor Corbett looking disheveled and, a little out of sorts, but otherwise in fair health, just sitting on a small stool, just says, I told you. I don't know. I didn't steal anything. Kelvin just shakes his head and he says, we have the records of your experiments with, well, at the time, open Lord Neverember. Researchers logged. Of course, wasn't officially sanctioned, was it? Working off the books for what, some mysterious project? Looks bad. If he's promised you something, I guarantee you he won't deliver. He's gone. It's just you, me, and, well, the courts. And Professor Corbett just rubs their forehead and says, I wish I could tell you what happened. I do. You have the records of what we're trying to do. It was supposed to be for security enhancements, but clearly that didn't happen. I can't tell you what I don't know. And Lynn says, fine. And with a wave of his hand, just summons his staff to him from leaning against the wall, stands up. And he says, well, if you change your mind and you feel as if you want to be cooperative, put back tomorrow. The way I see it is by the end of the week, will be turned over to the Waterdeep Watch with these records, and of course labeled as a traitor to the city. And well, they'll make their determinations from there. It may not look like it, but this is your best avenue for any type of help. Think on that. And waves his hands as the lights go out and he walks from the room. Heist, heist, heist. So Sergio spent a couple hours going over these maps and schematics, kind of talking you through the different things that he knows about the museum that he's found out. And one of the key things he focuses on, he unrolls on the table a 4 different small packs, maybe something you can easily fit into your pocket or a pouch. Now, it's super important to remember this. The people that work at this museum they are not bad people. They're simply just employees. So there are 2 rules that we have to follow in this endeavor. Number 1, this does not seem like it, but I have to say it. No one dies. And like, he looks at Lavinia like, I know, but it has to be said. This is not. You're not the assassins. We are simply trying to take something that is key to our goals. With that said, these are sleep darts. I'm going to give 10 to each of you.
Thank you.
On the off chance that a guard is alerted to your presence, and use this to hopefully render them unconscious for a little while. They'll wake up with a terrible headache, but they'll be fine. Second rule is, well, the museum is a wonder of culture and history. Outside of the Stone of Galore, we're not going to damage or take any other exhibits. They belong to the city. Not going to steal history and culture.
I think those are both reasonable and agreeable rules.
Yeah, this all sounds completely reasonable to me.
I have no questions.
I also have no questions.
Good. So we're all in agreement. The last thing, and I think this will help dramatically. And he reaches into a backpack and pulls out a green gem about the size of a football, and
Holy
placed it on the
shit, that's the
table.
size of my whole head.
It is it's quite large. It is to scale. This is a replica of the stone.
Ooh.
Now, it's
Brindle
not-
just grabs it and starts looking it over.
yeah, it looks expensive. Go ahead and roll a investigate if you'd like.
Oh, sure. Heck yeah. Let me find that owl bear.
Think
Interesting gemology.
Somebody's not in Albert.
it's me.
Oh, yeah,
Get in
Sorry.
yeah.
I'm coming.
Watch. That'd be a 4.
there. Mm.
Honestly, looks real. Right.
I think
Nice.
can I roll that too?
Sure.
Okay, I'll join the room when the owner accepts the request, but I'll roll a regular die. Oh, thank you.
Here for you.
Let's see. Nice.
Okay, the room is probably just a dark cloud right now because I haven't revealed any of the map.
Yeah. D20, please to roll it now.
It's nice to have you here.
Just
Why is it not rolling?
choosing violence?
It is choosing violence. Just roll, you piece of shit.
Albert does respond to threats. Except for when I deleted all my stuff and I
Threat-driven technology. Threat-driven technology.
All right, I'm just gonna roll. I'm just gonna roll a regular D20.
Real die?
I know. Well, I also rolled a 4, so
Looks real.
looks real.
We don't even have to do the heist. The stone's
Oh,
right here,
shit,
guys.
there you go.
I mean,
You've already
Now
done
it's
it.
working. All right.
That's so sick.
I mean,
That's
it
so
would
better.
If this had worked, it would be an 8. So looks real, man.
on an 8, you can tell that it's like it doesn't quite feel right. You've worked with enough gemstones to realize know what the approximate weight of an emerald should be. It slightly.
I have an 8 strength. If this is even if this is a football-sized piece of glass, there is no universe in which B is picking this up in her own hands.
If you don't want the info, that's fine.
I mean,
This-
but yeah, I think
Tiny but fierce.
Yeah.
So, but
in Brindle fashion, even though it looks genuine to him, he just sort of flippantly almost tosses it to you to give it over to you when you want to look at it.
when you do that, Sergio goes, okay, so a couple of input notes. One, this will not withstand any type of keen-eyed scrutiny. Anyone with, from the gemstone department would very quickly realize upon examining.
I don't know. It looked real to me.
it's also definitely glass. So could
It is.
somebody take this from me?
I could, yes, I can help with that.
Thank you.
You have a very good idea. It is very expertly cut glass.
It's beautiful. I would love to know the maker to get some really nice, this would be really great costume stuff. But holy shit, I'm so small, Brindle. You can't do that to me.
It was so light.
No.
Brindle, have you noticed there's a bit of a height difference?
I am 2.5 feet tall.
She's like 90 years old. I figured she just kept getting stronger.
You just stop while you're ahead, Brindle. Just stop.
I'm gonna make myself. Would anybody else like a cup of tea?
Yes, please.
Yeah.
Please continue, Sergio. I appreciate all of your efforts.
He just shakes his head and kind of laughs. And says, the purpose for this is not to obviously escape scrutiny, but to delay it as long as possible. So as long as you're able to swap for the real gem, until it is taken out for examination again, maybe a day or two, no one will have noticed the switch. And hopefully that will be enough time for, well, more than enough time for us to be complete with what we need to do. Oh, going over anything with the map. Understand we still have some day left before the gala starts. I need to run an errand. If all four of you are intent on going to the gala and Brindle has managed to secure 2 tickets already, then that's only 2 tickets that I have to go get.
You will be in the room with us.
I'll be close by.
So we'll all have tickets.
Is it possible to arrive late with a ticket without drawing too much undue attention?
Oh, fashionably late is common for nobility.
Oh, we should probably look like nobles, huh?
It's not 100% necessary. It's not a royal function. It's a charity function. Technically, anyone who is able to secure the funds could go. Merchants, old money families, nobility, probably some officers from the government just as a formality.
People who won a raffle.
Raffle.
That was how I was going to justify my presence. Because Kelvin Arunson is going to be there, and I just had an interaction with him. Now, granted, I probably remember a lot more of that than he does, but still.
I figure I should probably find something at least slightly nicer to wear, just so people don't ask too many questions. But yeah.
You have the day. I just asked that everyone but Riv be back by 7.
Sergio, could I walk you out?
Of course. He like gathers
Not
up
before
his.
you have a chance to ask him any further questions, but
No, I don't have a question for him, although I was going to say, Madam Ethelwhite, do you maybe have a dress I could borrow?
Oh, of course. I've got a bunch. Hey, you know what? Here, if you want to come take a look, I've got plenty of old things that don't get nearly enough use.
I don't really have very many things of that nature at all.
Do you have any in men's?
I do have a lost and found box that hasn't been used in about 30 years.
Yeah, all right.
So if you would like to rummage through that, you're welcome to. I don't. You may not find the classiest garb.
A look,
Okay, I'll take a look.
a look kind of crosses Bee's face as she imagines Lavinia in like slit all the way up to her ass, like bright red sequin dress with like lacy straps up the side, and then an even more perturbed look crosses her face as she imagines Brindle in the same dress.
Brindle could pull it off. It's about confidence. Fashion's about confidence.
Brindle has plenty of that, so yeah. Okay.
Brindle
the
could
height
probably
of Nadsat fashion.
Brindle could probably pull it off better than Lavinia.
Yeah, Madam Ethelwhite takes you upstairs, and Sergio kind of just gathers the rest of his stuff, rolls up the schematics, and says, "Okay, I'll be back here at 6. Like I said, all of you should be back by 7, minus Riv when you're done your show. Simply just walk up the red carpet. If something's awry, well, you know." He like points to the keys and is like, "You'll know."
and Riv does walk out with him.
Yeah, he walks outside and says, "Is there something on your mind?"
How big of a problem would it be if I showed up not as myself.
Well, the tickets are not to any particular name, just to whoever holds them. As long as you're consistent, see no issue. I would inform the team so they're not surprised. But he smiles and goes, I can't say that thought didn't occur to me.
I do not know the exact status of where things are at with Sanctuary and the investigation into it. But if one Mr. Luke Black showed up, would that draw undue attention?
Hmm. The information I have from my sources, no. Now, if Vincent Trench happens to be there, could get complicated, but I doubt he'll attend an art exhibit. It's not really his style.
No, I would imagine it's not. Thank you, Sergio. And I will talk to the rest of the team before I make any decisions like that.
Of course. Good luck with your play. I'll see you later.
It's break a leg.
Oh, my apologies. And heads out. So you have a couple hours to, take care of whatever you need to do. Lavinia, you and Madame Ethelwhite are able to go through a bunch of different dresses. There's all sorts of stuff in here, so whatever Lavinia wants to try to like pull out, it's all good. Um, you got options. They are
Love
not
options.
all crazy madam dresses, but it's about a 70-30 split.
We're able to find something that I think will blend in without being too eye catching.
Yeah. So, what do y'all
Maybe the
do with
split only goes up to the knee. Sorry, B.
You know, a girl can hope.
what do y'all do with the rest of your day?
Um, I before we split up, I think Brindle would be curious what we're gonna do with um, the stuff that was in the backpack. That what's his face? Hold on.
Oh, Delacar.
Delacar's backpack of stuff. Yeah.
So
So
there's a lot of stuff I'm deliberately not addressing because I know you all have a bunch of resources. Like you're welcome to talk to the team about it, but like
yeah,
this is more of a like you've got stuff. Whatever you're doing, I'm assuming is going to be part of your plan until someone telepathically is like, "Yo, we got a problem," and then you just start addressing stuff. But yeah,
yeah, just with the okay. I was gonna say with the team, like it'd be good to maybe divvy some of that up before we go in, because I think wait, who has the stuff right now primarily? I think
Yeah.
me is it, or did Kima have did B have some of the
I think
spell
I think
stuff?
Kima had some of the spell stuff because I don't know that anybody else can use the. Can anybody else use the scrolls, or do you need to be a caster to use the scrolls?
anybody can use scrolls.
Okay.
There is a potential for a non-arcana user or a non-magic user using a scroll that on a nat one things get weird. Um,
Okay.
but outside of that, anybody can use them. What I'll ask for to kind of make life easy is as you're walking into the gala, I'm just gonna ask like, hey, who's got what on them, or who is like giving something to Sergio to hold for later in the night. Because maybe you don't want to take lockpicks to the gala. I don't know. Like,
Maybe we don't. Maybe we don't need to try to put the grappling hook in someone's pocket.
That one's
Why
gonna hurt
not?
the
I mean, who knows when you
Hey.
might need a grappling hook? Like, come
Who
on.
knows when you might need a grappling hook, right?
Yeah.
He gets it.
I
Conversation
like
gets
that grappling. It's a nice grappling hook. It's
conversation gets boring at the party, and you're just like, "You want to see something cool?"
Look how
That's
fast
a-
I can climb this.
It's a
I
very good
don't
way to
think
just like
any of it
leave
seems all that
awkward
strange.
conversations.
It's like that one person who shows yo-yo tricks, except it's grappling hook tricks. It's here's walk the dog, and and yeah.
Somebody brought a hacky sack to the art gala.
Oh,
Some guards just like, you have to pay for that.
I guess we'll have to see what security is like on our way in and make some decisions, perhaps. So
Yeah. The way this is basically broken down is the gala is your chance to do some recon, right? Kind of figure out what's going on. If you want to try to pull the heist during the gala, hell yeah.
It is not expected that we're going to do the heist during the gala.
You can do the heist whenever you want.
I'm not sure that Brendo realized that.
Yeah, no,
That is both terrifying and like reassuring at the same time.
I was fully assuming we were going to have to pull this off tonight. I thought there was a shot clock on this.
Oh, you do.
Yeah,
But that doesn't
we-
mean. Here's the thing: when you go to the gala, you're gonna have a chance to actually look inside this place and see a bunch of stuff, and that should help inform you about the variety of courses of action you can take. But it should help inform you about like what you think is the best one. If the best one you think is to try to steal it while there's a whole bunch of people at a private gala just hanging out, like that's a move.
I mean,
I gotta impress upon you though, like if it goes bad, there's a lot of security.
Goes real bad. I, Della Collins, have to go read my child a book real quick. I apologize.
that's a good book.
Roll for that.
All right. I'll roll for whether or not it's a good book. I know what book it's going to be. It's going to be Pokemon. It's going to be a Pokemon book.
Good.
Yes.
Good.
All right. I will be right back.
I'm gonna ask her for that roll when she gets back. I want to know what that number is.
roll for which Pokemon the story's about. So.
Yeah. All right. So, but that's kind of the layout. There, you will have additional opportunities that are not the gala to potentially steal this thing. But your window is basically limited to by 6 a.m. You got to have it in your possession. And there's a lot of other reasons for that too. Anyway, competing factors and such. So you got the day.
I know Brindle at least is going to go pay Geraldine. What's her last name? Whitholm. What's my grandmother's last name? I've forgotten it. Geraldine, anyway. Yeah, Whitholm. Grandmama.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I'll Brindle's gonna go visit her. I don't know. I don't know what else everybody else has to do, but yeah.
Brindle, you go to Geraldine's manor. She lives up in the castle ward. And actually, as you notice walking down the street, go ahead and make a quick history check for some more context. But,
history. This should be low. Let's find out. Oh my. And I don't think I have it. Oh my gosh, I have a +1 on that. So 19 for history.
Fun fact in 5e, history doubles as local knowledge because they took out knowledge local because it's too many silly knowledge skills.
Insane.
You are heading. You're in the castle ward, and you're heading down the street. And you're looking at these different houses, and you're seeing some of the official looking buildings up here, and you're starting to realize that you're kind of in you call it like a place filled like with diplomats or like official persons who work for the city. Not every single house, but a lot of them. It's like walking through Georgetown, right? But off the Street of Bells is where Geraldine's estate is. And it does actually kind of sandwich between two official looking buildings.
I think in normal fashion, Brindle would have very pleasantly greeted anybody that he walked by, and while simultaneously maybe automatically thinking about how he might break into each one of their houses on the way by. So,
Easy
a
targets,
normal
honestly.
day.
Like the architecture is great for climbing.
Oh, Brindle's thinking about how his new grappling hook could help out in these situations. 100%. He's in a very good mood thinking about this as he greets the people on the street walking by. He knows he's at a place; it doesn't matter. So yeah.
Yeah, people pleasantly respond to you, and move about their day. Um, you get to the house, no issue. Head up, knock on the door. Um, Person that answers is a younger gentleman, probably in their like mid to late 20s, um, wearing some type of, you could call it a uniform, but you've never seen it before. But it's like well cut and looks official. Um, and he says, "Oh, hey, good morning. What can I do for you?"
Hi, I'm here to see my grandmother, Geraldine.
He looks at you, and then he like looks inside at something on the wall. Looks back at you and goes, "All right, just 1 second." And the door closes. After about 2 minutes, comes back. He says, "My apologies about the wait. Please come on in, sir.
Hey, no problem. Hey, I'm Brindle, by the way.
I'm Hector. Nice to meet you."
Hey, Hector. Nice to meet you.
Uh,
Brindle just follows Hector.
okay. As you walk through this looks like an office, right? Not a cubicle type space, but more of a like diplomatic office where there's just art and marble. It's very well laid out. There seems to be like an area for meeting visitors, and he takes you in. Basically, it's full of comfy couches, and he says, "Can I get you anything? Tea, water?"
I think before stepping into the room, Brindle would have like looked around, kind of realized how fancy it was, and sort of brushed himself off a little, and then moves into the room. Some do you water? I guess water.
Okay, I'll be right back. Just have a seat, and Geraldine should be out shortly.
Brindle did
And
not realize quite how well off his grandmother is.
yeah, as you're looking around, like you've had some interactions with like Walter and some other members of like this the Zentarum, right? And Walter's house is nice, but it's not doesn't have status behind it. The other members, I don't think you've ever been to their houses, right? You don't really know how they live. But this just like screams official to you. And after a few moments, you hear some footsteps down the hallway, and Geraldine walks into the room and says, "Oh, morning, Brindle.
Oh, good morning. Hi. How are you doing? How did you like the show the other night?
Delightful. That fifth act, I honestly wish it was longer. 45 minutes was not long enough for a soliloquy that brilliant. But, I have a
Yeah, yeah. Are they normally longer? This was my first show. Was it short? Was that short?
longest I've ever seen, but it flew by. I admit, though, I have a soft spot in my heart for the arts.
Yeah, I thought it was pretty great. Maybe this is I don't know. Maybe this is something I'll get into at some point. But I certainly thought it was very interesting. There was a lot. There was a lot.
It was nice to see you there and actually know that you're experiencing some of the culture of the city. right? It's an important part of understanding everything that makes Waterdeep truly what it is.
I think now that I've been here for a few months and getting to know some friends and whatnot, yeah, I think I'm starting to soak up, what the city has to offer to some extent. I think I'm trying.
Yeah, doing well enough for yourself to become a theater patron. I love it.
Yeah, the tickets were free, but yeah, absolutely. Yep.
Ah, you know what? Sometimes being clever is better than being wealthy.
I like that. I have a lot more of one than the other right now, so I yes, yeah, all right.
Hector comes walking back in and puts like a tray of like cucumber water in like a very nice decanter with a crystal glass cup next to it. Like pours it out, and on it also is like a small cup of tea that he just hands to Geraldine, and she's like, "Oh, thank you, Hector." And he lingers for a moment, and she says, "Oh no, Kindle's fine. You can resume your duties." He kind of gives her a nod and leaves the room and closes the door behind him.
Brindle might have automatically sort of tried to size up Hector, not really thinking about that before, but
Go ahead and roll
like,
insight.
was this going to be? Could this have been a thing?
I have a couple books over here.
It's just a 10.
And on first glance, Hector is very tall, very fit, and very serious. Right? He's polite, but you get the impression that at least in a fist fight, he could probably mess some people up.
All right, all right. Brindle doesn't spend much time on that. It was just like a oh. So
What do I do with the pleasure?
so Geraldine, grandma, Geraldine,
Geraldine.
I brought up Walter the other night, and I was kind of curious about your thoughts on the situation, because so Brendel moves to go and like sit down on one of the couches. He got up to get the water and such, and he sits down. But yeah, Walter proposed like a potential job that was going to pay 50 gold pieces, and he
He
didn't.
holds up a hand to stop you, uh, and then touches a necklace that she's wearing, and you feel like a weird like pop in your ears, like the pressure changes. Um, and then says, "I'm sorry, please continue."
Got it. Okay. Okay. So Walter proposed a job, but he didn't give me any details on it for 50 gold pieces, and it just seemed like a lot. And like I don't I like I it seems strange that he would come to me for it. Of all the people that he could go to, and I just kind of wanted to see if I could get some insight from you on this, and maybe a gauge on this, because it just seemed weird.
Mm. Walter has been, I guess, working through a series of complications to ensure our family's stability, and well, at the end of it all, it's necessary, right? Now, personally, I think the recent uptick in, shall we say, more aggressive means doesn't sit well with me, but at the same time, things are owed. Brindle, how much has Walter told you about what he's doing?
Um, I don't think Walter tells me a whole lot about what he's up to. I think the most that I might get from Walter is actually anything that I might see laying around his office when I go to visit him. But he doesn't confide in me a whole lot. There have been a couple of minor jobs that I've been a part of, I'm not sure what the maybe Walter's overall arc is here. Like kind of what he's going for. I'm not sure.
Hmm.
But I did see, and this is where Brindle brings up uh, there was some sort of a, what was it? Like a symbol that he saw in
Oh
Walter's
yeah.
office.
Okay. So Geraldine listens to that description and goes, "All right. Well, Walter's doing his job by keeping information close, and I appreciate that. But you're in a situation where I think, well, you've had some time to acclimate to the city, you've had some time to acclimate to the family, and I feel like it's important to bring you a little further in. That symbol, I'd be very cautious about who you show it to. Some history there. You ever heard of an entity called Xanathar?
I doubt Brindle has. Maybe he
Okay.
has.
Okay. Um, Xanathar is like a crazy rumor in Waterdeep. Although no one actually uses the name, the connection would be something Brindle probably pieced together over time. Uh, but there's a whole conspiracy theory that like the city's run by some shadow beholder, um, or is like shadow entity demon thing named Xanathar. No one's ever really been able to show this or prove it, but it makes for good conversation in bars.
Okay, yeah, I have sure, yeah, I've heard rumors, but like it never seemed I mean substantial. It seemed like kind of an urban legend, city legend. But that's the most that I've heard really.
Well, it's grown a bit of a life of its own. There are those who are very committed to the idea that Xanathar is the true ruler of Waterdeep, or shadow ruler, or shadow influence, however they describe it. To a point where he's amassed, or his concept has amassed, quite a large following.
I mean, I guess I could see it's possible if there's all these masked lords. Like anybody, I guess, could be anything a masked lord because they could be anyone, right?
Well, that's the thing. There's enough uncertainty to make it believable. But regardless of whether or not he exists, the Xanathar Guild is very real. And about a month ago, they took something from us. We had an arrangement where we were going to work through a project together, and well, it was a double cross. Some of our people were killed, and a very important gemstone was taken from us. Now,
What is it called?
now it doesn't have a official name, but it's been referred to as Heaven's Eye. It's a bright blue, almost sapphire-looking gem. Now, if this were simply over a lost gemstone, I would take the loss publicly, and of course, reconcile privately, but that's part of something bigger. And I'll leave that for another day. But the point is, Walter is working, we'll say, overtime to recover that and make an impression. If he asked you for help, then that means that he's assessed you as ready for more responsibility. I give you the context because Walter has a lot of positive traits that help us. Long-term thinking is not his strong suit. And he may need a little push from those around him to get him in the right direction.
Okay. Well, anything that the family needs, I'm here to help.
Of course. And I appreciate that about you. Now, what do you think of a more permanent position in the family business?
Well, I extremely interested, but I don't want to mislead anyone, especially you. Some of the things I have found to be possibly unnecessary when it comes to more violent methods. So I think that I have not maybe performed as well. I was afraid that I did not perform well, for Walter, because some of these things, maybe didn't go the way that he would have preferred to in the past. I think I've earned something of a reputation of maybe not completing tasks the way that was expected. I'm okay with that, but I'm all in for the family.
You complete them using your wits, using foresight, and, well, minimizing damage. And I can respect that. Walter has his role to play. I have mine. If you find that your work with Walter seems to disagree with your skills, then perhaps I can find you some employment on this side of things.
That would be, yeah, whatever you need me to do, Grandma.
Hmm. Let's do this. Spend a little time with Walter, checking on him. Make sure he hasn't, well, gone completely astray on this. See if you can help him recover that gem. If you do so,
I can do that. I will do that.
I will be more than happy to bring you on as, well, the position would be as an aide, but you'll start to see a little more of the inner workings of the, well, faction politics in Waterdeep.
Okay. All right. That's exciting. I'm very excited.
I'm glad. And there's a knock at the door, and Hector opens it. You hear that bubble pop. Um, and says, "Sorry to interrupt, ma'am. Your 10 o'clock is here." And Geraldine says, "Of course, thank you, Hector. It'll just be a moment." Door closes. So hopefully that helps clarify things.
Oh, absolutely. So I will return to Walter. I will take him up on his offer to locate the blue gem. And is there anything that I need to do to let him know about this conversation, or should we keep it to ourselves?
I think for now this is just a conversation between you and me.
Absolutely.
Um,
And Brindle stands up.
cool.
Has one last
She
drink of water.
gives you a polite nod, and as you exit, there is a uh, very armored-looking dwarf standing in the hallway with Hector just looking at him, and the dwarf just goes, "Okay, but I'm allowed to take my weapons anywhere on official business." And Hector says, "Okay, but if you're going to be here, you can leave it at the front. The armor can stay. Leave your sword." He says, "I don't carry a sword. I carry a hammer like every good dwarf. Leave it at the front door." And as you've been around Waterdeep long enough to recognize some faction stuff. The shield and crest that this dwarf is wearing is of the Lord's Alliance.
Okay.
And he kind of gives you a nod as you walk out. And he says, "You want me to go in there without a hammer? It's the most egregious thing I've ever heard. I'm a whatever." He deposits the hammer in like a little weapons bin at the front door. And then
Brindle sort of waves on the way by and cheerfully says, "Have fun." And does his best to try and remember what the store looks like, thinking that this might be useful in the future.
yeah. And then you are out and about.
Out and about. Okay.
I want to hand the camera over to Riv and Lavinia. Are you both going to the theater? Is it just Lavinia going to the theater? What's your theater visit look like?
I think that depends on if Lavinia was open to Riv coming along with her.
I mean, you work there, so I really can't tell you not to go.
That's true.
Also, it would probably be much easier for me to get in if you just let me in instead of me hoping that somebody is also there early in the morning. It just seems pragmatic to just go together. The real question is, does Advar wait patiently until we get to the theater to show up, or does he show up immediately, stomping his little feeties in the boarding house before we even leave?
Advar is very much like a dog that you've just said the word walk to. It's just kind of like stubby feet pacing back and forth and is like, "Lavinia, we must make haste. If there's devilish activity afoot in the city, we need to find it immediately."
No, I know, but I can't. We need to wait for everybody who's going to be ready to go. Would you, Advar, are you going to break a window to get in?
Only in the name of justice.
No. Wrong answer.
If you can be patient, I can not only let you in, I can show you where I saw the creature.
Ah, excellent. Will you be joining us on this crusade? Yes.
Yes, it certainly sounds like it.
Phenomenal.
Hey, Advar.
Hmm.
I'm not coming, but I have extra planar. I have an extra planar research methods final coming up. Can I interview you for that?
I would be more than happy to lend my knowledge.
Okay, cool. I'm gonna be at the campus. Talk to y'all later. Bye.
Do you finger gun your way out of the room?
Absolutely, finger guns. Finger
Incredible.
guns are way out the door. Back it up. Bye.
Heck yeah. Um. Okay, so the three of you travel up to the Eclipse Theater, right? Um, as you get there, there's actually a bit of a commotion going on. No one probably would take notice of it, except for anybody who's actually destined for the Eclipse Theater itself. But you can see that outside, Lavinia, you catch that there are two watch officers having a conversation in front of the theater, and a third one kind of walking around the outside.
Well, I am in my watch uniform, so I will approach to
Ah,
see what's going on.
other members of justice. Excellent.
Mhm.
Sure.
Responded to the call. Should I
I
make
sure
myself
hope
scarce?
not.
And looked at Lavinia and says, "Should I make myself scarce?"
That's really up to you. Some of them know you exist, and some of them think that I'm making you up, so it's up to you.
Hmm. I will conduct reconnaissance, and like just shuffles off. Um, yeah, you walk up and you can see these are North Ward guards, and they give you a polite nod. They're like, "Oh, uh, hey, good morning.
Morning.
Can we help you with something? Or are you?"
Yes, I received someone came down and left a tip last night. I'm following up on a tip of an incident here.
Oh, okay, yeah. Hey, I'm Jens. This is Ava. Um, yeah, crazy thing. Are you from the Southwood, right?
The candle, yes,
Yeah, Candle Street. Okay,
Candle Street.
cool. Yeah, I know a couple people down there. Um, great. Yeah, there was like a not really a break-in because we didn't find anything broken or disturbed, but inside the theater, big old mess. Things torn up, curtain ripped apart, backstage all just well, basically destroyed.
I work for the theater.
Oh, hey, can we ask you a couple questions?
Certainly.
There was a show here last night, right?
There was.
Okay.
Yes.
What time did the show end? And they go through trying to like establish a timeline of like, okay, what time did you leave? What was the last time you were in the theater? Like all those procedural questions that they'll ask you. Um, and I'll, flip over a notepad saying, okay, so everyone was out of the theater by said 11 o'clock, and as far as you know, you didn't come back. At least nobody else came back.
There's no reason anyone would have. We are meant to make sure everything is set and ready to go for the next performance by the time we leave. We'll double check it today, of course, but everyone should have left at that point, and everyone did, as far as I know.
Hmm. Okay. Well,
There, Riv, you said there wasn't a fire, but there was someone inspected.
That was a few days ago. I was told it was because, well, we used some pyrotechnics in the show and they wanted to make sure that everything was up to code. Things had gone a little off the rails during one of the rehearsals. And so they were making certain everything was safe. What was that name? Can I
oh,
remember it?
that was Weston.
And so, yes, Rip would say, this was Weston. Weston was the safety inspector looking to make sure everything was fine. It was cleared. Obviously, the show premiered last night, but that was the only strange thing that happened in the last week or so.
Hmm. As you say that, you hear another voice from behind you. Uh, as two more people have approached. Um, I think Lavinia, you'd probably hear them coming. Riv, maybe not because of the conversation, but it's not an ambush or anything. It's they're wearing like heavy plate mail, wearing these like white cloaks, and like just a plated boot stomps on the ground, and one of them says, Good morning. I'm sorry to interrupt like this. We're here on official business from the Church of Tyr, and we need to have access to the theater. You need it. Here's a written decree from the church. And the two guards just kind of look at each other and are like, they like look at the paperwork and they go, I mean, if you need access as part of what exactly are you doing here? It's church business, but it's important, I assure you.
Actually, I think this is more related to what my tip was than the damage.
The other one just turns and looks at you, and like, go ahead. I need you to give me a deception check if you want to.
Sure. I mean, it's technically true.
Oh, it's not for your statements, for something else.
Oh no. 23.
Okay. It gives you like kind of looks at Lavinia and cocks his head slightly, like there's an odd familiarity, and then just shakes his head and says, oh, "Please, what was that tip?"
Somebody smelled sulfur and believed that they saw something that appears to have been small and imp-like. They didn't get a good look at it. It was up in the eaves.
Hmm. And
But
your
there's
name
dangerous
is,
things in the eaves.
what is your name?
Lavinia Hale.
I'm Isaac. If you know where this was, would you be kind enough to escort us there?
Yes. This, and I gesture to Riv. They were going to let me in so that, we could see, so we could all go?
Thank you. As you had a chance to like really assess these two now, they're wearing these like white cloaks. You can see there's like the faint outline of scales on the back of their cloaks. They on their belts are carrying like two like almost throwing hammers, and you can see a much larger war hammer strapped to each of their back. And Isaac says, "Oh, please lead the way."
It would be my pleasure. I was just escorting Lavinia as she is my roommate.
You don't have to.
Sounds nice. And then the other two officers, Jens and Ava, are like, "All right, well, if you got that, we're gonna take five because we've been at this all morning. So you need it? You want a cup of coffee?"
No, but if you can leave a copy of your notes.
Okay, that can be done.
Give me
Cool.
your stuff.
Um, so review open the door, and as it was described, right there are the front atrium has been left almost untouched, but the theater itself, the different like cushions of seats have been ripped up. You can see like little claw marks on the backs of the seats. The curtain has just been like torn as if something uh, pulled off one of those old pirate movies and just like rode down the curtain in various places. Props have been thrown about. There are just like deep gashes on the stage. It looks like an absolute disaster, and it would probably take maybe a week of concentrated effort to get this place back open again. And the two white clothes walk inside, and Isaac continues to talk to you, Lavinia. As the other one, you can see his eyes just he blinks and they go just pure white, and he starts walking around with like a strange divine glow, kind of following some type of unseen path or tracks. As it says, so you work here, and of course you're investigating.
Correct. We were here last night before all of this.
Said your tip related to sulfur and small imp-like creatures. Where'd that tip come from? I'd very much like to speak to that individual.
Can I give a look over to see what kind of a body language Riv is putting off here?
Yeah,
Please,
and
yes.
throw some insight.
Let me just insight check my roommate here real quick.
Got a
18.
warrant. 18. What's going through his head right now? What's the body language?
I mean, Riv absolutely does not want to talk to them. They do not trust these individuals. They have no reason to. They do not know them. They barely trust Lavinia / don't trust Lavinia, so the vibe is that Riv would rather not have to say anything, but if it is going to be helpful, if it is going to ensure that further destruction and danger and chaos don't happen, they would defer to Lavinia's judgment.
I believe it was somebody who works here. I'm not entirely sure the note was left. And she will gesture to her missing arm. She's like, I get some of these smaller tips now. Things that
Of course.
somebody can look into on their own.
You said you were both here last night. Did you see anything unusual?
I saw a brief flash of light near one of the boxes where some of the guests sit. Other
Which
than that, I
box?
couldn't. That would be. I remember their names. I totally remember their names. It's the people who are building the bank.
The Castellanters?
The Castellanters.
He pointed towards the box, and he just turns and walks up the stairs to the box, and you see his eyes take on that same like just pure white glow um, as the other one who's walking across the stage, and he just calls out, "Amond, found the origin point." And Amon says, "That's not the only one. Multiple back here as well." Um, at this point, Advar comes strolling back in and like uses his elephant trunk to like tug on Lavinia's cloak. Just goes, "I've completed my reconnaissance.
And
The odds were right. There was no breaking or entering. Well, there was entering, but no breaking. No
What
black
does
glitter,
that mean?
no broken doors. Seems like this was perhaps an inside job. Someone among you cannot be trusted."
have you worked for this and this is not projected loud because they're still off doing whatever. And Lavinia says kind of softly to Riv, "You worked with this particular theater very long?"
A couple of seasons, but it changes in terms of, well, cast and crew. I mean, sometimes there's overlap, but there's new people every time.
And is there anyone new this season besides your leading lady?
Is there, GM?
There's one person. You don't know if she's like on theater staff or what, but it's that personal assistant that you've just seen like lingering about that Roberto's basically been ignoring.
Yeah, Riv thinks about that for a moment, and like you can kind of see them like thinking about the cast list, the crew list, and going through that, and then realizes there's been someone who I don't actually know what her role is here. Maybe a personal assistant? I've never really interacted with her. She's just always sitting there watching. I figured maybe she was taking notes of some sort for Roberto so he wouldn't have to worry about that while he is creating art.
And personal assistants get keys?
I have no idea what she may have been given, but it's possible. And Riv would give you a description of this individual.
It was the what's how to
He,
describe her? It was blonde
you had
hair.
said, yeah, you had said blonde hair, sapphire blue eye, suit dress combination in sapphire blue, and nice glasses.
Yes, thank you. Save me from having to pull my notes back up. Um, hmm. At this moment, Isaac comes walking back over to you all and goes to say something, stops and just looks down at Advar. And still with those just glowing white eyes, and he just takes an extended blink and they turn back to the normal, like dark brown color that they are. And looks at the two of you with out of curiosity and just goes, which one of you befriended a Hollyphant?
Not me.
That would be me.
Hmm. No, I thought I sensed something in you earlier. You're not with the church, are you? You
No,
have
I'm
a
with the watch.
you have an energy about you.
That would be him. He's more with the church than I am.
You're in a fight for justice, and will bring those who have violated the law and the sanctity of this place, well, to justice. And Isaac just goes, hmm, well, if you ever wish to visit the Temple of Tyr, we are Justicars. We can help in that pursuit. He says it both to Advar and to Lavinia. Oh. So excuse me, I have a few things still to check. And his eyes glow white again, and he continues to kind of walk around and take some notes. Right to the chat.
I've just been watching it this entire time.
Lavinia's just like, yes, I see.
Mhm. Which, I mean, Lavinia, you're familiar with Justicar as a tier. They are a beacon of law and order, although um, they're not part of the Watch, so they don't have any like official city authority, but they do often get deputized for matters. Um, there's like a weird bureaucratic line of like whether or not they're private citizens or actually city officials. It depends on the situation.
She's gonna file all of that away in her notes. Gonna turn to Riv now that they are once again semi-alone. Just gonna say, so I'm gonna go get those notes and see if I can run down this PA. You should probably tell Roberto that there's no show tonight, and I will see you at 7.
You hear in the background Roberto just screaming, "What do you mean the theater is not? What happened to my Temple of Art?
I'm gonna let
How have they done this to you?" And you just hear him screaming in the background. "I hold you, and you're responsible for the loss of creative energy to this city. How dare you think? What do you even do? What do my tax dollars go to if you can't prevent these types of things? I need you to find these ruffians immediately and deal with the damage." And the guards are just like, "Yeah, okay, man, we'll get right on it."
I'm gonna go and let you have a good day at work. Bye.
I can't believe you're leaving me like this, Lavinia.
Listen, this was a favor. I don't get paid to deal with that man. That's on you.
They don't pay me enough to deal with this man.
See you tonight. Bye. She's gonna scoop Advar up with her one arm. Just, all right, let's go.
That man is a beacon of fury and justice. I appreciate it.
You want to hang out? You want to hang out with Riv and Roberto?
He is rather loud, actually. I'd prefer to go with you.
That's what I thought. Come on.
Jens is like, "Hey man, you're probably gonna have to cancel the show for like at least a week." And he's like, "You can't cancel art!" And then just storms inside and like surveys the damage and sees Riv and goes, "Riv."
I know, Roberto.
Hold him.
And he like
man.
walks over and just gives you a hug. Goes,
And Riv just hugs him tightly and pats his back.
"What have they done?"
I know, Roberto. I know what they've done to this theater. It's going to be okay.
Like releases the hug and like just kind of holds you by the shoulders, like, "We're gonna find who was responsible for this."
We're absolutely going to find who's responsible for this.
Okay. Please, please relay to the cast that the show is temporarily postponed. It is not canceled. We are not done here. I'm going to find another venue to host us. We will proceed to make this city wonderful and cultured.
Roberto, get yourself some tea. Do what you need to do to center yourself so that you can take the steps you need to for this art to continue. I will tell the cast and crew what has happened and that it is temporarily postponed in lieu of the new venue.
Don't tell anyone I said this, but that's why you're my favorite, Riv. And then with a whoosh of his cloak, like walks into his office to start rummaging through files. Uh,
Riv is going to follow him, and I think they're gonna just first ask Roberto, do
like,
you have a list of the cast and crew? I want to make sure I let everyone know.
oh, use the sending stone in the over there. And you see him like pull out like just a massive Rolodex, and he starts like flipping through it as he's looking for other theater contacts.
Will that include your personal assistant?
Hmm?
Sending stone, will that reach your personal assistant?
Oh, yeah, it should. I think she's she's tied into that now.
I realized, is her name on the list of the cast and crew?
I haven't had time to update it. But Hazel.
Hazel. Okay.
Mhm.
I can make sure that that happens and that her name is added.
Yeah, Hazel Tawes.
And Riv makes a mental note of that and then goes to use
Also,
the
if you
sending.
if you find her, tell her she should be at work. Have to deal with her, then she has to actually be here to, get paid. Flip, 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 flip.
Is there a way to use the sending stone to talk to her directly? Or is it like a ping that goes out to everyone?
He looks perplexed at the idea that you could individually message people on this thing, because every single thing has been just reply all.
Absolutely.
But yeah, basically most of the cast have either some type of sending stone that's limited to just like theater updates, so you can know well show changes and rehearsals and all that other stuff. And sometimes Roberto just sends insane messages at 2 a.m.
Riv will make sure to send those messages out.
They're very inspirational. They're just badly timed.
I feel like it is very clear that it is not Roberto being the one who updates the cast just because the wording is just so different from anything he would send.
It's not all in caps.
Exactly. Riv is not
uh,
just screaming at them.
but you send that message out. You have a name,
I do.
and with that, um, kind of pan away from the theater, and we're gonna catch up with B. But I think we're gonna take a quick break before we do. So let's take a quick 10, and then we'll see if B's got anything going on today, and then we'll see what happens with the gala tonight. The gala. All right, don't go anywhere. We'll be right back.
We are here.
Yeah. So,
I was getting caught up on chat. That was my delay.
huh, this pizza. God, I want pizza now.
Oh yeah. Good pizza timing.
Mm-hmm.
Hmm. Well, checking with B. I know B's teaching, right?
I think B might be manning the reference desk today. Uh
Okay.
so is just kind of like there getting to do a little bit of research. And at lunch you know might wander over and just see who else has recently checked out the schematics for the art museum. Has anybody else been looking at that recently for over at the Masons Guild?
Go ahead, and so you get to the Masons Guild, and obviously you're a guild member, right? So things are
Mm,
accessible to you. But if they're asking for logs, you know, go ahead and roll an investigate check for me.
okie dokie. I can do that. Roll. That is investigation. Is 16.
Okay. Um, you recognize a lot of the names on here, right? So they're not recent. These get checked out about once every like maybe 3 to 6 months, mostly for inspections. You see Weston's name on there, most
Mm-hmm.
recent, second most recently. after the little fire scare, to make sure that everything was up to code. So they'd have to check all the schematics. The most recent checkout was by a name you don't recognize. It's by a Olivia Damon, Dammen.
Olivia Damon.
Mhm. And you're pretty familiar with like the guild members, and you just don't know that name. Now you don't know everyone, but
Hmm. Okay.
that was checked out about a day ago, and then returned by the end of the day.
Okay. This is for the art museum, not for the theater.
Yes, did I say theater?
Yeah, just making sure.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, art museum.
Okay.
Leave that old seat behind. The theater's in shambles. The art museum is still standing.
Okay, good. Yes. Yes, yes, yes. Yes. Wonderful, wonderful. All right. Um yeah, I might look into them as well. I might take a look at those blueprints as well. Just take a peek.
All right. What I'm gonna do to make your life easy
Hmm.
is I'm going to. Yeah, I don't think it's going to require a roll. You're using a faction benefit. I will ask. You have to list a reason why you're accessing the blueprints.
In this case,
Yeah,
what
just
she's
fucking
gonna say
grip
is,
it, rip
I got
it,
tickets to
baby.
the gala, and
Slop that
I'm
down,
nosy.
dude.
Oh,
Yeah, dude, crack one for the big boy.
Like fully, just like I get to go here tonight. I want to like look at it. I want to know what I'm looking at.
The like Alan that's like sitting behind the desk is like, I understand that you're excited for an event, but that's technically not a reason for us to check out schematics.
I mean, I guess that's fair.
Is this for an official work contract or maybe academic study?
Yeah, call it academic study. I am actually I am one of the adjuncts at the department for magical architecture over at the university, as well as working here. So it would actually be interesting to see, sort of compare things and see, if I can offer them any information on security updates.
Oh, well, why didn't you just say that? And just like starts doing the paperwork to check out these schematics for you. Uh, what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to give you the layout
Hey, thank you, Breadlum.
as soon as I find it. Where the heck did I put it? I'll send it to you as soon as I find it.
Cool. I think what I want to do with this is B has her familiar with her at this point, and I want the familiar to be looking at the schematics as well. The type of bird that she has chosen, these birds do in fact have an incredible memory for visual processing. So even if B does not remember this, B's not checking this out. She's just looking at it. But between her and the bird, she should be able to remember the whole thing.
What I will do is that's legit. I will let you make what do you call it? Investigate rolls as you go to like
Sweet.
basically recall information on the schematics.
Okay. And does my bird give me advantage on those rolls, buddy?
I'm gonna let the bird be the reason for that. That way you don't have to have a copy.
Sweet.
Good with that. Where is? Sorry, I'm just trying to. I have too many. I keep saying it, but I have too many damn tabs.
I I I get it.
Where is my? Can't have the GM version. Nice try. you can have the player version. All
Sweet.
right.
The
Yeah, you're able
redacted version.
to go through this map and get a good layout of the place. The biggest things you notice are there's a basement and there's an attic skylight.
Hmm.
That can be basement seems like it's designed for storage. Um, it's got like basically a few special construction parameters to make sure it's just air and water controlled.
Hmm.
But
Okie diddly dokey. Ah, ha ha. Beautiful.
all right, you get a map.
I got a map. So B is gonna like look at that, and E is actually going to on her lunch break like be kind of taking notes of like again is going to do the job she mentioned, and is going to be sort of looking at that and going, I bet you could put some. I bet if you altered the shape of this thing here and that thing there, you would get a you would you would really be able to bounce some spells off of this, that, and the third, and like is actually like doing like little sketches. Does have a notebook out and is taking sketches, but if anybody looks at the sketches she's making, none of them are maps. None of them are of the thing. They're all of like spell architecture. And if they are notes, it's all about the architecture. No, adjuncts don't get paid lunch breaks. Adjuncts get to take whatever time off they, you know, don't get caught taking.
Oh no, you get paid lunch breaks. I mean, it was part of your bribe. I mean, employment package.
Oh, right, my new employment package. I
It's so
forgot.
new you keep forgetting.
I keep forgetting.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So yeah, she's she's taking her unpaid PTO and taking basically just doing a little bit of magic research, and probably actually gets kind of invested in the magic research until like her familiar starts twittering at her and she's like, oh right, shit, I gotta go back to work. uh
Yeah.
and like packs everything up and it's like, see you later, Larry.
Bye. Um, I will note because this is a like important thing, right? So you do check out the schematics, you use them for a while, you hand them back over, right? Not a problem. You do sign a log.
Hmm.
Okay.
She signed a log. She had a reason to look.
Hmm?
She gave the real reason, and she gave a reason that sounded good. uh you know and you know
Oh yeah. Nope. All good. Um,
mhm.
it is rapidly approaching. The damn chat.
No, no, Larry is the desk guy, but
Hey, yeah, Larry's a very business-oriented Owlin who just kind of hangs out.
uh-huh, but that's pretty good.
I like that. Larry Bird.
Larry
Um,
Bird.
it is rapidly approaching 6 p.m.
Mhm.
as everyone kind of reunites for the evening. Uh, Sergio is back in the kitchen, kind of going over some final notes. Looks up and kind of does a double take as Riv you walk in. I thought you weren't going to be available till later.
It's been a strange day. There is no show tonight.
I'm sorry to hear that.
Yes, someone decided to redecorate the theater.
It sounds nice, but you're tone suggests otherwise.
By redecorate, I mean tear as many things apart as possible and make it impossible for us to perform.
Who would do such a thing?
You and Roberto would get along very well. He is looking for an alternative venue right now. But I suppose that's good news for our plan.
It is good news to the plan. I am still very sorry. That's upsetting news.
I'm personally looking at it as something unfortunate that is instead lucky because it means we do not have to work around that, and it also means that I will not be running to the gala after. I'm not going to mentally time how long the show is, but it is a long one, and I was pretty exhausted last night, so
Oh,
I'm glad I will not be in that position tonight.
it helps. This is going to be a long-term endeavor. I'm sure we'll have some time that we can commit to helping find who did this.
I would appreciate that. Yes.
Of course. But so now, for tonight, I ask that all of you do your best to take what is happening elsewhere and put it aside and focus. Does not mean
Yes.
your personal matters are not important. I wish we all are successful and we can quickly get back to them. Is everyone ready?
Andy, I
Yes.
have a question.
What's up?
These little red
Dog?
marks on this map, are these security doors?
Let me double check this real quick. So since you have the actual schematics, um, those are connecting what look like either doorways or closets.
Okay. So those are those little red marks there are um
You wanted to like store materials or have staff get around a little faster, right? Those are basically places that people keep like cleaning carts and stuff out of sight, but not have to lug
oh,
them all
okay.
around. But they do
So
connect. They do connect.
okay. Sorry, I think I was comparing the two maps, I compared them wrong. Um B, before everybody goes, B is going to real quick mark those out on the map that we do have for everybody. And just say,
Oh, by the way, she mentioned that there might be closets, or like places for people to move. I have those. They're right here. Tick 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 tick.
Oh, excellent. How did you come across that?
I'm a mason.
Of course. And you can see that Sergio's like thinking about something but doesn't say it. Okay.
I think so Brindle would have also picked up clothing today.
Okay.
He entirely forgot he was going to actually ask his grandmother if she maybe had some, some nicer clothes or something like that. But it turns out that was a really nice place, and that meeting went a different way than he expected. So I think in celebration of his possible promotion within the Zentarum here, he went and spent some of his own money on clothing on the way back today, which is practically unheard of. So.
What I'm gonna do is this, because I want to hear how you all dress for this gala. Um, the last thing that happens in the house is that the keys are activated, and you are now under the effect of various telepathic bond. So you can talk to yourselves. It can either be kind of a reply all or individually. Um, the mileage is pretty wide. I'm trying to remember how far it is, but it definitely encompasses the whole venue. Oh, it's possible over any distance as long as you're on the same plane. Great.
Oh, neat.
Yeah, so you're more than covered.
No one jumped any other planes.
Don't
We'll
get
be fine.
banished. Don't have somebody,
Brindle promises nothing.
I will do my level best.
It lasts for an hour. I'm gonna say that hour is gonna start once you get into the venue. It's like prepped and you can just turn it on. But yeah. Carl Sergio says, okay. Who's ready? And we flash cut to the gala, right?
Before we flash cut to the gala,
Okay.
I think we pause for one moment. We don't have to see this conversation, but Riv does look at the other three and say, there's probably something I should tell you. And then we smash cut to the gala.
I like that.
Sweet.
The National History Museum has been decorated in the front. It's got little spotlights, basically just these nice glass gems that have been enhanced with a version of dancing lights to project up into the air to make it look very fancy. It's been decorated with banners that are just like richly woven tapestries, kind of hanging down, just saying like opening night, private gala, um, and there's just a lot of activity as you see a variety of well affluent people who showed up to this event. And I will describe them later because you're going to have a chance to interact with all of them. But let's talk about how you all enter. First question is, do you all enter together or separate?
Separate.
Yeah, I was gonna say separate is probably for the best.
Absolutely separate.
Okay. Who's first?
I'll go. I can go. I'll go first. Sure.
Brindle, a carriage rolls up and drops you off out front. There's a red carpet leading up to the main entrance. You can see at the front entrance there are two dressed down but still armored looking guards who are just checking invitations and then ushering people inside. What do we see when we get out as the camera pans around and you see like the footstep out of the carriage, and then the pan up?
All right, stepping out of the carriage is Brindle, dressed in mostly black finery. I'm going to say because it's practical but also classy looking. Sort of a kind of stiff collar, maybe almost like not actually military, but going in that direction of fashion, with a lot of gold embroidery on the collar and shoulders.
Okay.
But yeah, slacks and maybe not quite like coattails coming off the shirt, but kind of longish in the back. Stylistically, very as nice fitting as he could afford with only like a couple hours, which is it could probably have been better.
Oh, that's good stuff. And the tailors here in Waterdeep can work wonders if you have enough money. Cool. What's your entrance?
My entrance?
Yeah. If you just walk in, you just walk in. But if you wanted to have a moment
no. It's starting to walk down the slight. No. Finger guns are for others. I'm going to say Brindle is he's a little taken aback by the pomp and circumstance of it, and is probably saying hello to far too many people on the way in, who are just there to like spectate the thing. There or some official capacity. People are just standing there, not responsive. But he's like, "Hey, how's it going? You know, great to see you." Da, da, da. Yeah, just sort of being out of place a little. Certainly new to this, but you know, smiling the whole time, and eventually making his way down the carpet, sort of oblivious that this is a, you know, an entrance really.
Okay, very cool. Uh, no issues. It's people kind of push you along, like, hey, this is the entrance. Head that way. Head that way. You get to the main area. I will ask, um, of all the equipment you all have, what are you taking with you, and what are you leaving like as
Oh yeah, yeah,
storage?
yeah, yeah.
Because
I would
Sergio,
say
you'll hear Sergio's like narration, if you will, over the heist is like, now of course when you're heading into the gala, maybe you take minimal things with you, one or two things for precautionary sake, but the bulk of anything you may need for later, you can leave with me, and I will be able to make it available to you when the time comes.
oh, okay. Yeah, without assurance, reluctantly, Brindle did give up his grappling hook. So
Yeah, it's
that
hard to conceal.
there's that, as well as some of the various things that were in that what's it called? The backpack that we got from what's his face? Oh my gosh, Della. So Delacar's backpack. So I guess like any of the components or the other things that we found inside of it, the weird amber gel, the multicolored changing potion, and aside from that, like I'm going to say that Brindle's just kind of going in without anything other than his invitation.
Okay. Brindle, you make an entrance. There's a moment of probably tension as you present your invitation to one of the guards, who looks at it, shines a strange gem light on it, nods, hands it back to you, and says, "Enjoy the show, sir."
All right. In this case, Brindle will smile and wink at the guy on the way by, and then goes in.
Very kind of you. You as well. It just you head on in. Uh, cool. Who's next?
I'll go.
B.
Um, B is wearing. It's actually the same dress as she's worn the last two times she's dressed up,
Excellent.
but it is draped and tied in a completely different way, so that this time it's now like tied around her neck, fully backless. The sort of like braided gold-ish belt is sort of wrapped several times around her waist and hanging down in almost like a like Franciscan friar, but make it couture kind of way. Um, and
Julius done.
she's wearing opera gloves. She's wearing opera gloves. The whole thing she has prestidigitationed to be like this midnight blue, sort of that with that sparkling, and she's wearing a like a big chunky collar necklace, like one of these things that comes like almost looks like a gorget almost for from armor, that has a big Mason's Guild like mark on it,
Nice.
and a little sort of hammered steel like tiara, and this is stuff that she has fully borrowed from uh like the little tiara and this big thing are things that she has um borrowed from her friend.
her friend Olga, and from like, but she looks, and she is wearing high heels that bring her all the way up to almost 3 feet tall.
Ooh, crazy heels.
Crazy
All right.
heels. But she's got her skirts, and she hands her, she's fully made up, false eyelashes and everything, big eyelashes and everything, hands her invitation with a winning smile.
Yeah. The smile is returned. Guard takes the invitation, shines that light on it, nods, says, "Enjoy the exhibit."
She is carrying with her her spell book and arcane focus. But that's, again, she's a wizard. That's just sort of what they do. But those are sort of in a bag that sort of matches with her outfit. And her armor and her sling bullets and her those potions and things, as well as some of her mason's tools, are all with Sergio.
Okay. Very cool. You head on inside. Who's next?
Lavinia will show up next for this shindig. So the dress that she managed to find with Madame Ethelwhite for this event is not sparkly, but it is kind of dramatic in that it shifts from like a light lilac color down to like a deep amethyst purple as it goes. It's more of a chiffon fabric. It's very flowy, drapey. It's got kind of like a sweeping neckline. Her neck tattoo is completely on display for her collarbones. And slightly making her uncomfortable, but trying not to draw attention to it, is also with the cut of the neckline, the kind of gold spider webbing of scars from where her arm was severed is also on display with this cut of the dress. It's floor length. There is a slit. It is higher than the knee, but it is not quite as dramatic as I think B was imagining it to be. And she has her hair kind of like pulled back into like a half up, half down, just white curly mass. And with her, she does have tucked kind of like into like probably like a pocket on the dress, because it is still a madam's dress, so she probably had like some kind of sewn in pocket where she keeps all of her like keys and things in there. And so in there, Lavinia probably does have like she does have her watch badge in case she has to pretend to arrest any of her compatriots tonight. And as far as other supplies that she left, she probably does have, in case she needs to call him, she does have one of Odvar's feathers, because she does technically need that to be like, hey, where the fuck you at? Not that she would say that to him. She would never, but in spirit.
I love it.
Spiritually, that's what you're saying to him.
Spiritually, that is always what Lavinia is.
Odvar is doing either one of three things at all times: pursuing justice, looking for apples, or sleeping.
Or sleeping.
Mm-hmm.
Charmed life, truly.
Absolutely.
All right. Riv, make your entrance.
Riv does indeed make their entrance, and the only reason it is not shocking to the three of you is that you've seen who they are coming as, not who they are wearing. Well, who they are wearing is one way to say it.
What a descriptor.
I
Face
couldn't
off.
stop myself. The words just kept coming out of my mouth.
Cursed. I love it.
So before you all split up, you would have seen this figure who looks very different than Riv. He is a bit taller than them. He has blonde hair that goes just about to his chin. And he has piercing green eyes. And he is wearing a suit to match, a suit that is very much the color of a sapphire. And he walks in with no hesitation, and as though he expects there to be eyes on him, as though he belongs here. And he carries nothing on him except for the invitation, having left his thieves' tools and other associated things with Sergio.
All right. As you all enter the gala. Oh no, where's my map?
Good map.
Oh no,
I will just
owlbear.
say, you would all know that this particular persona goes by Mr. Luke Black.
Okie dokie.
That was weird. All right. Boom. You enter the gala.
Oh man.
You can see, I'm going to put the four of you here to start, but this is not to put you together. This is just to get an idea of where you're all at.
Yellow.
This place, first of all, is huge, right? That goes without saying. As you walk inside, the main entrance area is actually just it's a beautiful atrium, right? Again, this building is historic. I'm looking for something on my tabs. All right. Yeah, so the first area is just beautiful, has these two ornate statues by the entrance. So you come walking in of kind of heroic figures in poses. Who's moving my guards?
Oh, sorry, that's me. I didn't realize I could.
I trusted. Yeah, no,
Sorry.
I didn't lock anything.
Okay, I'll put him back. There he goes.
It's all good. Yeah, those are the two guards at the door that are just like, hey, come on in. I can see the name when you click on them.
Oh.
As you come in, like I said, there's this just beautiful marble structure, and there's over here looks like gift shops, right? These seem to be closed door offices, and then off to this side, as you saw on the map that you have, you're looking at tabbing again. It's like real life buffering. Yeah, ancient cultures and ancient plants exhibits over here. And you see a couple patrons have already made their way in. Of course, the grand staircase heading up to the second floor. You are met with the sound of just some music.
Oh
Sounds
shit.
like a string quartet or something, just gently playing songs.
Della, did you just delete
Did
yourself?
you just delete the...
I don't know what I'm doing. I'm sorry.
Gonna lock everything.
That's probably a good idea.
So, as you walk in, over the telepathic bond, you'll hear Sergio say, "Okay, now once you're inside, the key things we need are to confirm the layout, look for any additional security, look for other ways in and out, and see who has the keys to what, if possible. You can do so undetected. Grab one. What y'all do?
I think the first thing that happens with Brindle is that as Sergio's trying to communicate with us over this link, his thoughts just kind of spill over. It's, oh my god, look at this food, look at all the music, this is great, look at all these people, da 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 da. And then people have to tell him to like quiet down on the comms over the mind, right? Like okay, Brindle, okay, Brindle.
Brindle, you are currently on an open chat. We can hear everything that you are thinking.
Oh. Sorry. He kind of reins himself in, figures it out.
Beautiful.
But otherwise, I think yeah, Brindle actually just goes wandering through the place, aimlessly for now, kind of looking around for these keys. Did you say? Did Sergio say?
Mm-hmm. So let's see who has keys to what.
Yep.
Okay.
Where's the food?
Upstairs. You
All
can
right.
hear a majority of the music, and you can smell food coming from the upstairs.
Della,
What are you
I
doing?
I didn't mean to do that. I wanted
So
to move the thing. I'm not casting area of effect spells yet.
immediately going in.
Like,
Party
I think
time.
be
I think
subtle.
Brindle
time.
Be subtle.
starts
Blend in.
wandering.
Look for keys. burning
Just-
hands.
I don't even have
Is
that
this upstairs?
spell.
Am I going upstairs?
Yeah,
Is
Brindle
this
heads to the
upstairs?
upstairs. So you can see as you come up to the top of the staircase, which actually would bring you like here, and then kind of around. Right, you see another one of those heroic statues, and then a dinosaur exhibit. Right, and see one of the nobles over here has like is standing in front of just a panel of buttons, and she just presses one, and the Allosaurus just goes, and she's like, "Oh, fascinating." Yeah, and presses another button, and it moves again. You know, in a kind of animatronic sort of way.
Brindle cannot help himself with this one. Images of this thing come over the the telepathic link.
And you can smell as like that everyone's being bombarded by these sensory effects. You can smell like the food and hear the music coming from in here. Um, you know, from the layout, this is a kind of lounge or cafe area where you can kind of rest and relax. And then, of course, these are exhibits that are creatures of the past and underground wonders.
Mm.
Um, these red doors, you do not see these on the map. They look like walls to you. But I'm using the nice schematics since B was clever and got schematics.
I think Lavinia follows, not exactly follows Brindle up, but she goes up directly to the gemstone exhibit.
Okay. And
I
head
think
on up.
I'm gonna get in there. Oh, there's a lot of people in here. Hello.
Mm-hmm. Then you go inside and start making friends. You look around the room. You can see that the gemstone is, you know, on a little pedestal behind a protected black case or protective glass case, excuse me. Um, it's just like it's beautiful. It's the same size and scale as the one that Sergio had made, and it also just radiates like a soft light.
Who is
Of
there?
course,
There's not like a, you said knowledge local is kind of rolled up into history, right?
yeah.
Coming in here, can I see if there's any of these people who Lavinia knows? Maybe not by like personally, but by reputation.
Sure. I'll give you a little orientation too. Anybody in red is obviously a guard. Anybody in blue is somebody who kind of stands out, and everybody else tends to be I'm not gonna say others, but trying to help reduce the amount of chaos.
I will say, at least as Brindle's been walking through, he will keep his eye out for anybody who might know him. So, like Kemp or his grandmother or Walter or uh, pretty much just kind of trying to be aware of who will know him and who won't know him here.
Um, on first pass, as you're kind of walking through, you don't recognize anybody, which is probably reassuring.
It is. It
And
is.
where is? Yeah. What would you
18.
roll? 18. All right. Let me do this as you're kind of walking through between the Countess, Captain Walters, and Alita Arkin. Those are the people that you would have passed by pretty quickly. And this Dr. Stonecrusher. Which one would you like to know some more about?
You know, true to form, I don't think Brindle gave them much thought on the way by.
Oh, no, this one's for Lavinia.
Oh, Lavinia, sorry.
I think it's kind of a toss up between the captain and doctor, honestly.
Your call.
Let's hear about the captain.
Okay. The captain, as you can walk in, is actually moved a little closer to Yvette and is having a very boisterous conversation with her. And uh, you don't necessarily recognize this individual, but he's wearing a Waterdeep Guard uniform um, with obvious captain rank. And you do know in the Guard that what's the best way to phrase this? Not all captains are equal, right? Some people work their way up through the ranks. Some people can buy ranks, depending on their status. And he is sitting there. Captain Walters is regaling Yvette with a tale of there we were in the Silver Marshes, surrounded, Drow on one side, orcs on the other. And you think this is an impossible situation. Silver Knights, their vanguard had been all but vanquished, but we, well, if you've never seen the beauty of a cavalry charge at daybreak, let me tell you. And for, well, saved the day. I myself carried 3 of my wounded men to safety. This medal was presented to me by Open Lord Neverember for it. She's like, oh, wow. Actually, I want to roll her insight. She's going to be like, huh? That's cool, dude. The Silver Marshes were quite the campaign. Many good men. And she like presses the button on the Allosaurus again, is kind of drowning him out.
Beautiful.
It's nat 20 on inside, so she's like, nah, I'm good.
My father was at the Silver Marshes. I don't believe that man for nothing.
I mean, even a very quick flaw in his story is that there was a enchantment cast over the Silver Marshes to specifically prevent daylight from occurring. And so the idea of like a daylight cavalry charge until the very end of the conflict wasn't even possible. That was what turned the tide. And well, that was a very, very significant battle.
Yeah. But he falls into the rank buyer category.
You have your suspicions.
She's not gonna make too direct eye contact with him, because just because she doesn't know him personally doesn't mean he hasn't heard of her and her father, and so she's not gonna invite that. She just makes note, keeps going, bops her way into the gemstone room to get a look at the security specifically around.
Cool.
that guy.
I'll come back to you in a second. What's not Riv, Mr. Black doing?
I think given that the others have, well, at least two of the others have already gone upstairs, he's going to make his way around the first floor and just kind of take a pass around to scope out security there, but also to see if there's anyone he can engage in some delightful repartee with.
Okay. Uh, go ahead and roll me an investigate as you're kind of like walking around down here. I'll put you up here, and I'll put Georgina in the same spot as you. A lot of NPCs in this scene. A lot of people.
I'm going to see if it wants to roll for me. As of now, it does not.
It's choosing violence.
It is choosing violence. I'm going to roll a die. That's going to be a really bad roll, and that's fine. That is all of a 3.
Wolf. Yeah, that's not gonna do it. I mean, you obviously you notice some of the obvious stuff, right? Like guard, guard kind of on patrol guard here, right? But nothing in terms of like in-depth security stands out at the moment. Now, I'll say that this is a massive place, so it's not the only time you can make this roll. Um, you can also, if you'd like, roll to advantage, but I'm going to play a fun game where if you fail, one of the guards is going to be like, "Hey, what you doing?" EC's 15.
I'm going to choose not to use an advantage at this time. I
Okay.
feel like we're going to need those
Oh, sorry.
later.
This is a free advantage. I'm just
Oh, this is a free advantage.
yeah, because it comes with cost, so that's why it's like free bud.
Okay. I'm going to use a different dice because that
Okay.
one's cursed.
DC 15. Investigate.
That is a 19 on the dice, plus 1 is a dirty 20. Let's
Okay.
go.
Do you have anything particular you'd like to know about, or I can tell you about something very clear? Not clear, but that would. What are you looking for first? Otherwise, I'll tell you what I think is useful.
I think something that Riv is always mindful of is escape routes. And so I think as they're scoping out security, they're looking to have an idea of what the exits would be and which ones are most likely going to be affected either by security already in place through guards or other means.
Okay. Cool. On a dirty 20, they get you two things. First thing is you see this guard here, Garrett, walking around, sees a drink that's been spilled by one of the guests already. Sighs, walks up to this wall and taps a key card that he pulls off his belt uh, against one of the like designs on the wall, and it slides open, and he pulls out a mop, mops up this little area here, throws the mop back in there, and key cards it again. Door slides shut, and is indistinguishable from the wall. But his assessment that there are hidden cut throughs is, well, you've seen one now. The other thing you notice on a 20 is here by the front, uh, there's a nice plush rug that has an unusual spring to it. Doesn't feel like the rest of the floor.
And Riv will pass that along through the telepathic communication, letting B know that she was right and that there are key cards that will open those doors. And also mentioning the rug.
Okay. What's B up to?
I think B.
Where's your
It,
token?
my
Oh, you're
I,
awake.
I didn't move it.
Then how'd you get up there?
Wait, did I move it? I didn't move it. Oh, nobody moved B. Oh, you moved me instead of moving Riv. You moved me up to here instead of moving Riv.
Oh, you know what?
Oops.
I get. Look,
Ha.
everyone's looking to be like, well, how can the blame game and like we just got to talk about results and the results.
Listen,
Listen.
I am gonna go
That's
ahead
all
and
me.
say that it is the most likely thing that I would have fucked that up, given what I was doing before. Uh,
That's all my bad.
so
Not
I
quite this
think
bad.
what B is actually doing, so B's not like dumb. Um, their wisdom is not the highest, but they're not like dumb. She knows that she had to put sign her name to that that thing, that log. Um, so honestly, what she's going to do at this point is go be very visible just looking at exhibits. Like she is going to walk through the downstairs first and seriously just take her time walking through the exhibits down here before going upstairs. Like she might chit chat with a guard, just like this must be a really cool place to work.
To be
Like,
fair, whatever guard you're chit chatting with, give me a name.
let me see. I think given the route I think that she's taking so that she doesn't pass Riv, I think she would wind up talking first to Francina Van Lichter.
Name generators.
Is a wild name. What a wild name.
Yeah, you pass Francina and you make that comment, and she says, "Hey, I guess if you're into this kind of stuff, right?" And then kind of catches herself and is like, I mean, I hope you're enjoying your evening."
No, I get it. I get it. I'm sure at a certain point it all kind of runs together, but this is my first time here, it's one of those places right? Like it's right in the backyard, so you never think to just go to the museum in your own town.
Yeah, congratulations. That is actually pretty cool. It's throw me a persuasion check real quick.
Okay. Persuasion, that's definitely a thing that I'm good at. Um, charisma. Oh no. Yeah, that's flat. Uh,
Is that an
that's a
eight?
6. I
Six?
think it's a 6. Yeah. Yeah, that's a 6.
Okay. And there's a moment of awkward silence, and then just says,
Yeah.
"So, you like? Are you like here
I'm just look.
for vacation, or like you said, you're local?"
No, I'm here for the party. It's chill. I'm just looking at the exhibits. Don't mind me. I'm
Okay, and
uh
just some people like a certain level of small talk with these things. If I'm perfectly happy to just not.
uh thumbs up, finger guns. And goes back to looking again, just looking at the exhibits, like um and again just kind of continues cruising through. um is occasionally, if there are spots where she is more or less unobserved, like for example, if she stops like up here, might pause to check in with her familiar who is circling the roof to see what rooftop accesses look like.
Okay. You check in with familiar. You actually, this is a weird one. So when you check in with your familiar, you're gonna like temporarily be out of your body, so you're just like standing there in the hallway for a minute. But that's
Hmm.
fine. Like it's not the weirdest thing. Familiar will basically let you see through their eyes, and you can see that there is indeed rooftop access. Um, there is what effectively looks like a skylight,
Hmm.
very similar to a like RC Cola version of the Louvre, right? And
Hmm.
you know, doesn't seem like there's any type of entrance into the skylight, but you can see with some decent moonlight boxes of storage area, um, and just kind of shows you that the best of their ability.
How high would you say that the roof is?
From the ground,
Yeah.
that is, let's see, 60 feet up.
What if you had a grappling hook?
What if you could cast Featherfall?
You could.
Uh,
See, the tragedy is the top of the roof is the apex of the glass, which is 60 feet. But a grappling hook could probably hit the 50 feet required to actually hook the top of the roof wall.
okay. So yeah, so B will sort of come back into her body and kind of keep on cruising through, just sort of
Okay.
looking at things. Probably won't try to make more conversation with people after that unless somebody approaches her uh just in a very like, okay, I tried. I tried. I can talk to wizards and people who like rocks.
It's
That's
very
what I
funny.
got.
You got the flippantly sarcastic guard, which I enjoy. Just
Cool.
like whatever, bro. Sure, have a nice night, your gala. I'm at work. Um,
Hope you get a whole lot of free food you can take home, buddy.
Riv is able to relay to everyone that what the key cards look like on the guard's belt, and you hear Sergio say again, delicately, but if you can get one, it will help.
All right. Well,
And it's kind of freeform until we have an initiative. I just want to make sure people get time in the spotlight. So everyone's had a chance to do something, but what's happening next?
I think Brindle will end up. He headed upstairs looking for food, but the thing is, this room that has all of the rocks and gems and stuff in it, that looks a lot like on a map, like it would be a room where the food would be. So I think Brindle accidentally ended up in this room, and at this point is looking around for a key card that matches what Luke sent to us. So would that be only the two guards might have one? What does Brindle find walking into this room with a bunch of stones? Also, how valuable do these stones look?
I think it's as Brindle enters the room for the first time. This whole exhibit, right, is designed to draw your eye here, but there are other gemstones here and here, as well as on display on the walls and on the various tables. They've been set behind security glass, but you can literally have a cocktail at the table while just looking at these priceless artifacts. Um, Brindle,
I think
as you walk in,
I
there's
think
like
grabbing. Oh, yeah.
as you walk in, like the just collective shine of these gems that have all been like polished and properly lit, uh, almost comically has like the money sign icon just appear in your eyes as you realize just the the collective wealth in this room alone.
Look, these gems were probably stolen from someone, right? I mean, aren't museums basically the display of thievery anyhow? And it wouldn't be helpful to everyone if the anyway. Okay. But really, but really, Brenda goes over and you said something about having a cocktail nearby. So if there's any of those being made in here, I think he would perhaps pick one up off a tray or something while walking around the room, looking around simultaneously to see if there's any mention or something that might look like the Heaven's Eye blue gemstone that he was talking with his grandmother about previously, or any mention of it, because this would seem to be a place that maybe it had been kept. But also, kind of getting near, kind of going around here and kind of getting near, like the guards, maybe behind the guards here, wandering around. And like, what does he see? Are there key cards? What do they got? What
Go
are
ahead
we
and
doing?
roll perception or investigate, please.
Absolutely. Let me switch over to. Oh, I'm in Owlbear. Holy crap! What am I doing? Okay. Whoa.
Nat
Damn.
1, baby.
Owlbear wants us to die. Has
Oh.
anybody rolled a double-digit score in Owlbear
No.
tonight?
I don't
No,
roll
I
an owl
definitely.
bear.
Yeah,
I
I'm not doing it
100% have.
anymore.
No, I've gotten like an 18 and 19 earlier. Here's the difference
Today?
I had reset the box in here, and when it has the button that says roll that I go and click, I get a bad roll every time. But if I can throw it myself, it's been fine. So I don't know. This
That's
was
what I
me
have
clicking
been
it
doing,
instead
so-
of. See if I do this. See, look at that. But anyway, okay. So one, I rolled an out one. So what do I perceive?
All right. You were looking around for key cards or maybe something that matches the, Heaven's Emerald or Heaven's
Heaven's Eye. Yeah.
Heaven's Eye. And all that attention is taken from you. All your focus is taken as good old Countess Helena sees you walking around and just kind of comes up and approaches you. This is something you would notice here on a nat 1. I'll give this to you and Living as well. Aldo seems to be calling the shots here. Right? Is like telling guards what to do. Is like basically fussing over the exhibit and is greeting everybody very professionally. The countess comes walking up, and as you're trying to get a little closer to one of these guards to look at their key belt, maybe, or like a little better look at these.
Oh, I on a nat 1, I fully believe that I would be really intent on obviously looking at the guard's belt while and then bumping into her perhaps as she walks over, because I didn't even notice her coming up on me.
She there's a little bump, and she goes, "Oh, I'm so sorry.
Oh, hi there. Hello. Hi. Hi.
Well, I'm the Countess Danforth. It's a pleasure to meet you."
Oh, hi. I'm Brindle Fallow. A pleasure to meet you. And he sort of regains his composure a little bit and bows, probably a little too hard.
I see that you're new around events like this.
I am. This is my first time in the gallery, and I have to say it's pretty spectacular.
Oh, it's quite lovely. It's a rather impressive display of, well, wealth, don't you think?
I think so. Although, I mean, this is a museum. It's really more about the history of each item, right?
Of course. But wealth and history are intertwined. Have you ever wanted to expand your own wealth?
Can I perform an insight check
Sure.
as to why she might be asking that very overtly? Oh no. That'd be an 8.
Now, I don't usually do this with everyone, but you have a striking image. You seem like the kind of person who's a real go-getter. I have a business that I work with, and let me tell you, with charisma like yours and, well, your attention to detail, I think you would be a fine asset to our team.
I am flattered. I'm flattered. Um, I I mean, could you tell me more about what you do?
Of course. With all the different potions and elixirs on the markets these days, some of them can be unreliable, but we have one that we can sell at an 80% markup. And let me tell you, if you want a pathway to wealth, and she just straight up pitches you a like vitamin multi-level marketing scheme.
Clocked her. Clocked
Which
her.
is actually, it's very funny that the
She
chat
sure
said it because
does.
it's actually very on brand for her character to do this.
Oh, that's so
Um,
good.
And with just a small investment of 1,000 gold right up front, you could make easily 10 times that, provided you're willing to, you know, put in the work and the hustle. I mean, you seem like a person who's very driven. Is that right?
Yeah, I am actually. So like, could you tell me a little bit more about like logistically how the business works? Like, so,
They basically sell
do you
themselves. That's the
have?
best part. And
But
like,
but logistically, like, where in the city do you usually like operate out of? Because I don't want to travel too far from home. So like, where are your kind of like major hubs as far as the distribution?
oh, with the commonality of sending stones, you could basically work from home and be your own boss. Like, there's on this Nat one, just fully overrides what you were doing to spend the next 10 minutes trying to
Ah,
sell you on this multi-level marketing engine.
I guess, yeah. Fast forwarding through that, Brindle will keep trying to get her to tell him where they keep their stuff, so he could potentially use this in the future, without succeeding, because she just keeps rolling right over it. It's like, where are your warehouses? Where do you keep this stuff? A
Oh,
1,000 gold is a large amount to buy in. I like this is
that's
what he keeps trying to. Other than like, he's not that direct about it,
and
but
that's
like,
the beauty of the free market is it just moves around constantly, right? Like the sales is not about static locations. It's about dynamic interest in moving around your sales product and getting it to the people that need it. So it's not about where it's kept, it's about where it's going. And it just
Lavinia's
keeps
very upset that this is happening in the room she's physically in
you
because
can
she
hear this
oh
can't
no no
tune
no
it
no no
out.
no!
I can't
On a
tune it
nat
out.
on a one, you guys, he's going to be very excited and let you know about this opportunity over the telepathic link.
best price ever. So yeah, you can do
I
all
think this could be a legitimate heist following this one. They're really keeping this stuff around somewhere. Sounds very exciting. They might actually have a big thing going, and maybe we could. Anyway, okay.
you all get this pitch from Brindle, and you just hear dead silence, and then Sergio just goes, "If we could stay focused on the gemstone."
Right, which is literally behind him.
Yeah.
I'm gonna
All right, moving on. Who else has something?
while I'm watching this train wreck happen directly in front of me, I'm gonna scoot my way over here to Alda. Yeah, really. I want to avoid the Countess. I guess I'm gonna hang out with this guy and Alda.
Yeah, the guard moves around, so
Yeah,
they're not gonna like just loom over you.
yeah. Cool. Gonna
And for
come over here.
for mechanics' sake, their alertness level is at 0, so the guards are like doing their job, but like no one is on edge. They're there. They're being paid to be there and stand there.
Yeah.
You
I'll
know.
keep an eye on them in case I do see if either one of these guards looks more careless than the other as far as their keys go, but for the most part I'm gonna approach this person who seems to be in charge and see if they set up the exhibit.
Mhm. As you approach, she says, "Ah, welcome, welcome. I'm Ella Arkin. I am the curator. Welcome to our fine exhibit."
Thank you. It is very beautiful. You've put on a very fine event.
Oh, it's worth it just to get the people here to see just a small piece of, well, beauty and history. How are you enjoying the gala?
Very, very well. It's been lovely so far. Although I am curious. The event is just for the gemstone, correct? Or is this
Oh, the gemstone is the centerpiece of our whole exhibit. She just is around to like all the other gemstones on display. But this has been, well, it's been a recent find, and so it deserved its own debut.
I understand. Is there going to be Are you going to make a speech
Of
about it?
course, formalities will begin promptly at 9, but we want to give people time to enjoy the museum, get some food, and just really soak in the culture and atmosphere.
I see. And forgive me for saying so, but this feels very open and exposed. Is this how it stays the entire time?
Go ahead and roll perception on that, because that's an odd question. Let's see if that
I'll do a perception.
is it always this secure.
No, no. Don't worry. That's not
No,
what I
that's a
meant.
cop question. Come on.
That's that odd, but yeah, fair enough.
21.
21. Uh, she doesn't notice. Um, or at least if she does, there's no, overt telling. Says, "Oh well, yeah, of course, fine security, and the good thing is the people of Waterdeep, they treasure history, and we've never had an incident at this museum."
That is good. That is good. I
Oh yes, for the chat, the gem is on a pedestal, but it is in a glass case. Just like all the other gems that are out there, they are in glass cases. So like you can see them and get very close to them, but you obviously are barred from interacting with them.
Does it is it a loan to the museum, or does the museum own it outright?
Oh. Well, there's actually some fascinating research going on behind this gem. Uh, Simply because the origins are, well, unknown. There'll be a little more in the formal presentation, but this is a artifact that has appeared in history a few times, but there's no original source or owner. It was actually rather fortuitous that it was recovered by the Harbor Brigade. Almost
Oh,
lost to the Yeah, it was almost lost to the sea. But we'll continue research to see if we can identify its origin point. But otherwise, it's you know a gem worthy of display. And it kind of smiles at her own joke. As you're sitting there talking, you can see these two guards, right? Uh, Miriam is very professional. Um, Good old like straight posture and like makes a point to just check the room. Doesn't like menace anybody, but it's just like actually engaged with the environment and like looking around and just making sure things are okay. Uh, Sarina is actually looking at the exhibits. Like there's moments where you glance up and she's like not even paying attention to the guests. Is actually like reading the exhibit descriptions, um, and then like casually kind of glances back and like pretends to do some guard stuff, and then moves over and like is actually reading the little placards that are all in the cases.
well, it is truly a crown jewel of the exhibit. So, I'll be interested in hearing the rest of the presentation.
course, and thank you for your patronage. Please, the cafe across the hall, food, drinks, and of course, uh, servers will come by with cocktails and wine. Enjoy yourself.
Thank you. And I think to avoid attracting too much attention, Lavinia will she will step out back into this main room as if she's going to that cafe area, but she will tell the others that Serena seems uh less less careful of what's going on, of her surroundings, and kind of just project her the appearance of this particular guard to the others.
Okay. You notice out here, like Yvette has kind of left that conversation. And
That
is
has escaped. Good
yeah,
for her.
and
Good
good
for
old
Yvette.
Captain Walters is now just talking to Reginald and like, daylight charge saved the day. Let me tell you, this medal awarded for heroism. I carried 5 people to safety. Oh yes, 5, not 3 from earlier. 5. Cool. Let me get one last thing from Riven B, and then we're gonna start to wind it down.
I think B is going to kind of keep on wandering through the downstairs exhibits. Eventually sort of pass by Luke Black, maybe make sort of trade like a couple comments of like, this is kind of neat. Never been just sort of vague, very similar to what she tried to do with the guard before, but sort of similarly just kind of keep it moving. And then, unless anybody else tries to talk to her, she's gonna go up the stairs herself and kind of do the same thing. Um, uh, kind of probably keep just trying to sort of walk through the exhibits. Um, sort of planning to leave the gemstone room for last, I think. So she will probably, when she makes her way up the stairs, she'll see uh, the good captain, and having gotten the lowdown from Lavinia on that situation, will just be like, avoid, go around, and show up in the cafe to get a snack.
Okay. You go into the cafe, you see Yvette's just kind of sitting there. It's grabbed like a small plate of food and drink, and it's just enjoying the silence. Two of the guards have kind of like met up and are just briefly talking. Go ahead and roll a perception check.
Perception. Good God.
Gosh.
Good golly gosh. What the actual fuck? Well, that is an 8.
Okay. You walk in, and two guards just like look at you as if you've interrupted something. Um, and then
Yeah, Kima will.
Grandor just says, "We'll talk about this later." Hello, are you enjoying the exhibit?
Yes.
Good, good. Please help yourself to any refreshments that are available. And of course, if there's something else you want, I can flag down one of the servers.
Appreciate it.
And then goes back to his spot in the corner.
Going to go get a drink and like sit down and just sort of like say like almost to like no one, but maybe a little bit to uh Yvette. Sorry, that's my parents' dog's name. Uh
About that, yeah.
say to Yvette, sort of like half to Yvette, just like, I am like 0 for 3 having random conversations with people tonight. I don't know what my problem is.
Honestly, these parties can be a bit awkward. Um, but doesn't have to be all bad. I'm Yvette, by the way.
Very nice to meet you, Yvette. I'm B. Or Kima. Sorry, Kima.
Emo, good
Mhm.
name. Yeah,
Yeah.
I enjoy these parties, but I'm here for the art more than the conversation. There was some magical way I could just put things into my ear and just listen to narration about arts and history. I would love that, but
Oh.
as
Oh,
far as I
that
know, no
would.
such thing exists.
Kima kind of gets a faraway look. Oh, that should be doable. Because, well, if you. So we know that you have we have like uh um message spells. We have magic that can, when it's triggered, we have magic mouth spells, things like that, that once triggered deliver a message. So theoretically we should be able to have something like that just attached to an exhibit that would then recite things for you, especially if given a cue. You'd have to tie it to a cue, but theoretically that shouldn't
That's,
be that hard.
that's fascinating. Are you a researcher with the academy?
Yes, yes. I
Oh,
am a. Yeah, I did say magic mouth spells. Go it. Uh, it's not my fault. That's what they're called.
I thought the phrase was somatic.
N- no, thanks.
No.
Uh,
I love magic mouth spells. It's delightful.
mm.
that's what it's
It's
called.
it
The
is it is
spell
a
is
spell.
called magic mouth.
It is legitimately a spell.
Wait, what?
Hmm?
It's called magic mouth. You pass by, you enchant. It's an enchantment spell. You enchant a location, and when somebody walks past it, it delivers the message.
I hate it.
It is a static message
I
spell.
hate it. Put it in jail.
I'm I did not do this. This was done previously.
Put it
As
in baby jail.
as you sit there and kind of have this really engaging conversation about like magic and mouths and just but real talk sitting there talking shop.
Hmm.
Yvette is very interested in this because I'm just like, wow, this is the whole reason I came here is to just learn new stuff, and this is incredible. Hey,
Oh,
so you, here's here's a question for you.
mhm.
You said you're a researcher. Have you ever heard of what did they say? It was something called like the silence. Is that a thing? Guards were talking about it. I thought that maybe it was a new exhibit, but I haven't seen anything like that here.
Yeah. The silence. No, I that's not familiar at all.
Oh,
Um,
that's a pity. Sounded
yeah.
cool. It was
What were they saying about it?
something about I don't know if it's an exhibit or something. It was something that the curator they said was setting up, but like I said, I haven't seen anything any exhibit on that. And if I don't know something, I kind of want to go research it or ask until I can find it. So shot in the dark.
Well, yeah, no, I completely understand. I understand that. No, I mean there's various spells for magical silence and spells to counteract magical silence and things like that. It's possible. And I think also a very interesting type of uh, theoretical magic or use case for certain types of magic involves um, varying cases of sensory deprivation and sensory heightening, which uh, you'll see sometimes in sort of various artsy type things, sort of stuff like that. Uh, but yeah, so Kima is going to sort of continue, kind of gonna that Kima's being rattled by that is going to sort of leak through for just a second.
Okay.
But she's gonna get a grip on that pretty quickly, and um, kind of just sort of continue talking, and eventually, um, yeah, just sort of continue chatting, and eventually maybe keep moving.
Yvette, as you get to have to leave, Yvette says, or Yvette says, "This has been honestly really nice talking to you. If if you ever, I don't know, if you ever need assistance on research, I work at the Waterdeep Library. Um, here's my card.
Oh,
I like
amazing!
talking to a fellow academic, so please, um, come on by. I'm doing research on the statues around the city, actually.
Oh, really? That would
Mhm.
be fascinating. My other job, of course, is she gestures to the sort of the Mason emblem. I'm also a Mason. So I mean, we've been interested in what the hell's what's going on with those statues for a really long time as well. So that's fascinating.
I'd love you to have you just come by and just get your take on it. And
That would
then,
be
sorry.
Yeah. I think the conversation at that point, when they start talking about libraries and research, they probably stay there for a lot. She probably stays there for a little while longer. Um, Before eventually realizing, oh, I'm here for reasons that aren't
I
academia.
think you're blended in
Um,
pretty well.
but I think,
Um,
but I think this does very much uh, do what she wanted it to do, which is sort of be like, yeah, no, I'm a curious person who is just interested in all of the things, and that's why I looked up the schematics. No other reason.
of course. We'll kind of close out with Riv. Riv, as you're still downstairs, heading back into the main lobby, you hear one of the guards actually just say, "Oh, enjoy your evening, Miss Castellanter." As a face you would probably recognize from the paper, uh, Amalia Castellanter walks into the exhibit.
What does she do as she enters?
She walks in with her head held high, with the unmistakable air of somebody who is noble and important. And she looks around at the exhibit, pauses to admire the statues and the architecture, and then slowly, by one of the servers that passing by, grabs a champagne glass and works her way upstairs.
In which case, Riv passes this piece of information along to the rest of you.
Oh, excited, waiting for her to.
You all get a mental image of Amalia walking through the front gallery.
Oh, gonna watch the stairs for when she shows up.
Yeah, and no sooner does Riv project that image than she comes around the stairs and starts heading into the gallery. Brindle, you're freed from the Countess, where she says, "Well, you know, are you ready to invest in yourself today?" And just waits.
Yeah, Brindle will, with the entrance of Amelia, is it Amelia? Yeah, Amelia
Malia.
Kesselinter, will extract himself and letting the Countess know that basically name dropping her name as she comes in, having this foreknowledge that Riv slash Luke has shared with us, and extracts himself from the conversation, saying that he needs to go say hello to her.
The Countess is like, "Oh, your first client already. I like your hustle," and goes to follow you. And Alda's like, "Oh, hey, good evening. Have you seen the exhibit yet?" And like pulls her off to the side, just accidentally, not even noticing what was happening. Just, I'm the curator. I need to share these things. And she's
Oh,
like,
so good.
"Go,
But I
get her.
will.
Go get her."
I will say I'll probably leave off with Brindle making his way across the room towards her.
Yeah. I think that's a very good place to leave off, as things have gotten a little more complicated. There's no outro for tonight because we are in the middle of some nonsense.
We sure are.
Well, because it's either I give you the outro now or the intro next time of what's going on, and I'll save it for next time. But thank you all for hanging out
Yeah.
as Lady Castellanter has now entered the scene.
Without her husband, the scandal.
Wow. They're fiercely independent.
Mm. Mm.
Stepped out to see a show with him last night. She steps out to go to a gala without him the next.
Mm-hmm. Oh, I can't make you large on the screen. Oh, goodbye. You all thought I was like ending the stream.
I mean,
No, I just don't have the big head nest on that. What do you call it? Screen. Anyway, Redlam.
Hey, all right. So I have been and will continue to be Bedlam. Tune in next time to see what Brindle Fallow does as he approaches one of the most important figures in Waterdeep, on a whim to try and extract himself from a multi-tiered marketing scheme being sold to him next to a priceless gem that we plan on stealing. Yes, in 2 weeks.
That sounds crazy.
That's it. You can find me here. And on March 25th, on Monday, we'll be doing Thy Kingdom Come. Yeah, and you can learn more about Jerome Nears. So there we go.
Heck yeah.
Mm.
Della.
Oh, hi. I'm Della. I have been B, and this has been educational for me. Specifically about how I should not trust Owlbear with dice rolling
Back.
ever. You can find me here every Thursday where I will either be B or I will be the ghostly conglomerate headed more or less by Rachel Blauhair in Redacted. You can also currently find me. I will be back here next time, this coming Sunday, on Academy H, where I will be continuing to guest star as the pale flowers that blossom on battlefields, Siblid warrior, and sometimes human earth hero emissary. And also, I will be here again on the 25th, GMing Thy Kingdom Come. The gloves are coming off. It's going to be fun.
Hell yeah. JD.
Hey, I am JD. Tonight I have been Riv slash Luke Black. I was totally not looking at the map to see which NPCs might be the most kissable. Certainly Violet Pendergilt did not catch my eye. I was not thinking about that. It's fine. Don't worry about it. Anyways, I didn't act on those thoughts, so we're good. You can find me in way too many things, and I'm probably just going to lay out things for the next week and a half to 2 weeks because of that. Tomorrow night, I will be with Folk and Myth playing 10 Candles, where we will all die, and I am leading us to our death, and it is going to be a good time. On Sunday, I am going to be playing in Masks ×2 because I will be with Tales from the Table Studio to do a masks game for charity to support relief efforts in Palestine, and then I will be back for Academy H that evening. Next week, I will be running Masks on Tuesday on Entropy Emporium. It is a horror game called They Call Us Villains. It just premiered 2 weeks ago at that time, and it is an incredible game with an incredible cast. And then I'll be here for Redacted Thursday. Then I'll be back on Monday the 25th, reprising my role as Saint Soren Augustine, who is doing just fine. He has a new home. I wouldn't worry about anything involving him.
You gotta sleep at some point in there too.
Do I?
I mean, I can't tell you what to do.
We're assured he sleeps a normal amount.
I do sleep a normal amount.
Such a
Last night it
contrite
was 5
statement.
hours, but it's usually a normal amount.
Julia.
Hello. I'm Julia. You can find me at Hexbot on all social media platforms. Today I've been Lavinia Hale. Sunday I will be Lyra Kroll, and in 2 Tuesdays from now I will be Kelly Violet. This is Ichabod. He's a menace. Have a good night, everybody.
Heck yeah. And I'm actually gonna forego my thing. I just CM'd the game. It's fine. I want to go back here and focus on Violet Penderfield. Just because
Yeah, expose her.
it was brought up.
Ooh.
Listen,
right.
you're looking at Violet, but you weren't looking at Alda, because I'm just saying.
All right, for the next 2 hours, I'm gonna go through every NPC and how hot they are.
Look,
On a
there's
scale of 90
Alda, and there's that orcish guard there that was also looking pretty fine.
Listen,
I'm
they're
just
all
saying.
so hot, it's so hard to choose one. I just happen to focus on her.
I can tell you that Cassidy did not show up to this event because I definitely looked around to see if she was going to be here. We haven't been introduced to Cassidy yet, but I've seen a picture.
Brindle is.
Listen, the hotness rating for every NPC in this game is from 8 to 10. Like, it doesn't really go lower than 8.
I don't know. Drop a picture of Isaac. We have to make some decisions for Lavinia.
I'll pull it up. I got some photos.
Yeah,
but
we deserve to know.
I got you. We're gonna go away, but we're gonna go raid the Lost Caravan because they're playing Delta Green, which is one of my favorite systems, and it looks cool. So say hello to them, and for anybody who donated, thank you. You're not only supporting a good cause, but you're also keeping our heroic heisters potentially alive. I don't know. Albert might kill them with the rolls.
God,
but we'll see what happens next time on Dragon Balls and next time on Neverember's Enigma. So
the word I can't say.
Yeah. But
it's a bad time every time.
Hell yeah. Thanks for watching. Have a good night.